Good morning, everyone. So, in the last class, we are trying to discuss here the logical questions here. So, in that logical questions, what is the last logical question we identified here? Something like yeah. So, static block and instant block and constructor we identified in the previous example. So, basically, we identified like which one is taking high priority here. So, later, what is the block is executing we identified. First is taking the high priority to the static block, and later which is executing the instance block. Finally, the constructors are going to execute it. So these are the important concepts we are discussed in the last class. So today we are going to discuss one more important section here. So I want to answer from this logical question here. So let me create here logical tree. So inside this particular logical tree, so I'm going to connect with the main method, and so I want to define this particular. So byte b is equals to 6 here, and later I'm trying to work with so b is equals to b plus is equals to 8, right? And later what I'm doing is I'm trying to print with this particular b, and here I want to write like this here. So b is equals to b plus 7. So if I'm going to print this particular simple example, so what are the values that I'm going to get here? So can you please explain me, if I'm going to enable so this particular commented section, what are the outputs we are going to get for this particular line number 7 and line number 9 here? So what we are going to get here?
Line number 7, 14, sir.
Okay.
Line number 10, 21.
So 14 and 21. Okay, can I, if I'm going to enable, so first question, this expression is correct. So can we work on this particular expression is equal, b is equals to b plus 7. So is going to give any error here?
Yeah, it is correct, sir.
Observe here, which is giving an error here. So why it is giving an error here? So now you need to think here, so what we are doing here. Basically, what is the 7 here? 7 is a integer type, right? So be having byte type here. Whenever we are trying to like doing any other addition or subtraction, any operations here, integer with the byte. So what happens in there? The result we are going to get as a integer. The result we are going to get as a integer. But now, so what we are doing here? Basically, we are trying to convert into byte type here. Getting the point? So we are trying to convert into this particular type called byte. So because of this particular implicit conversion, we are going to get an error here. So if I'm going to convert explicit typecasting here, so what happens here? So basically, so this section we need to do. So here, if we are trying to convert into byte type here, we are not going to get any error here. Getting the point? So if I'm trying to remove this particular conversion here, we are going to get an error here. So why we are getting an error here? So now you can see the type mismatch cannot convert from int to byte here. Getting the point? So basically, whenever we are trying to work with the simple number, so we already identified, so which is going to take as a cutting the point, which is going to take as a integer data type here. Cutting the point. But now, what happening internally? So only the problem here. integer to byte, so we cannot convert directly. So we need a explicit conversion because compared to byte, it is a bigger data type. So this section is going to give a compilation error. So to convert into byte here, we can get the particular output here. So the particular output call. So let me run the same example here. Now you can observe. So 49 to 21. But first it's going to give a compilation error. It's going to give a compilation error. So this is very important here. Now, so I want to check with the static related information. So let me create one more logical code. So public static void print value into I comma into j. So we are having 3 parameters, right? So I want to print here the type called integer, and same way I'm trying to write one more method, so which is expecting here so byte type. Here I want to make as a long, and so whenever I'm trying to call here, what happens internally? Here I don't want to use this particular. I want to check with this particular int here. Now you can see b is equals to 9. Print value I'm trying to pass. So can you please explain me which method is going to execute here? So this is very important here. So which method is going to execute and what is the output we are going to get whenever we are trying to call this particular print value.
Seventh line, sir.
So 7th line. So something called long value we are going to get.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me run the same example. So now you can observe we are getting int here. We are not getting the long here. So what about now? What about now?
Now it is seventh line, sir.
So basically, first two, so it's going to take the priority, the simple parameters method. So basically now why it is taking the simple parameters here? Now the compiler is going to check the first data type here based on this particular 3 parameters here. So the particular byte, we don't have a 3 parameters here. Getting the point? So we don't have the 3 parameters here. So because of this particular byte, so what is the next step here? What is the next step here? So sometimes what happens in the previous example, if the char related data type is not available, so which is going to check with the int data type, right? So this is the nearest data type int. Same way, whenever we are trying to work with this particular byte also, is going to check with the next nearest the bigger data type here called int here. Getting the point? So basically, whenever we are trying to work with this byte bearer concept here, what happens internally? So which is going to take as a array of elements. Getting the point? In the previous example we discussed here, whenever we are trying to work with this particular bearer here, which is going to take as a array of elements here. But now, whenever we are trying to pass this particular parameter, what happens internally? Based on this particular byte, we don't have a method, so which is going to take three parameters. It's going to take three parameters. Now, but we are having this particular int type here. So if the byte is not available, the compiler is going to convert this particular byte value into data type. Because small value we can easily convert it into long data type here. Nothing but big data type we can easily convert it here. So the value is converted into the next step, which is going to call this particular int. But why it is not calling this byte array? Basically, whenever we are trying to work with this particular var concept here, so which is going to take as a array of elements here. First is going to take any parameter method we are having. If yes, so the particular method is going to execute. So later, if the particular parameter is not available, what happens internally? So this particular var related methods are going to execute here. So this is very important here. Now we need to understand here. And same way you can observe. So previously the main method we defined as an array. Now we are working on the var. Getting the point. So but we are not getting any error here. So why we are not getting this? Because the var also internally, which is going to take as a array concept here. So this is also very important here. We need to understand here. Now I want to check with one more example here. So this particular tree map related example we did not discuss as of now. So let me check here. Okay. So now based on this simple example we are having, these are the main things here. Okay. So we don't have much example related to this particular OOPS principle. So let me check any in Google we can find. So yes, we'll try to. So we are having the final test already. So these are not our Java related questions. So here, this is also insert before. Okay, so can you check this example? You may get understanding of this particular example. So this particular website is going to give more information here. Now you can see Java made so easy.com. Here we are going to have this particular dummy SCJP example here. So that we are going to have more understanding here. So what exactly what we understand as of now here. So we'll try to check here. So we are having one example here. Now what exactly logical fine. Okay, now you can see, so this constructor we are passing one parameter and we are adding into the local variable to global variable, and we are having the one method. So name of the method called getName. We are trying to return this particular name. So we need to find out in the what we are going to get here, something called what loop. So you drop this. Okay, so we need to check the particular example. So basically here we don't have options, just simple. It is a so the statements are they are providing here whether these two statements are correct or not. Okay. Now I want to work with the remaining examples. So alphabet string, what we do. So this section does not have much information. Okay, we'll check with the remaining example here. TJP. So now, can you please answer about this particular question here? Now I'm going to write. Inside this particular main method, I'm going to take as a int x is equals to 5, boolean b1 is equals to true, b2 is equals to false. So you need to understand here x equals to 4 and so not b2 and so if we are trying to work on this particular example here, what happens internally? System dot out dot 1 and later, so I want to check with this particular second one, two, and I want to check here one more condition, b2 equals to true and B1. So I want to print this particular value. So what are the outputs we are going to get here? So this section is little bit important here. Now try to understand here what we are doing here. So what are the values we are going to print? Because we are having 3 println statements here, but how many print statements we are going to print?
10th line and 12th line will be printed, sir.
So 10th line and 12th line will be printed. Okay. So what about this particular line number 9?
The condition is false, sir.
Because of this particular x equals to 4, so this particular condition is returning false. Now, so if it is false, this is not going to execute. The section will print here and here. So what we are doing here? So which is the here condition here? So only we are having the condition here B1. Basically here we are initializing the value B2 as a true, right? So later we are having the condition B1. So this particular true, again we are checking with the B1. The B1 already we are having the value true. So first we need to understand the initialization section, and later we need to make the both the values here. So for this particular expression we need to return true. Same way this particular expression also we need to return true. So these are the two important things we need to understand here. Right. Now we need to understand one more example. So how exactly which is going to work with. Observe logical 6 here. So inside this particular main method, I want to define x is equals to 6 and logical 6 is equals to L6. What I am doing here, I am trying to creating an object of this particular logical 6 here. So later I am trying to work with, I am trying to call one method here. Using this particular L6 dot, so do that having the one method called, so do stuff here. So which is going to take x value. So this method as of now we don't have, but we are going to call this particular, we are going to create this particular method. Now we created this particular method. Right. Now I am going to call this particular sysout x value. So carefully observe, I am trying to print here, I am trying to print this particular I value, so within this particular method call. So it's within inside this particular do stuff method. Right. Now so can you please explain me, so what are the outputs we are going to get?
6, 10, sir.
So 6, 10. So let me save this particular example. So int x is equals to 6, and we are creating a logical object here, and later we are calling the do stuff method, and we are trying to print the particular x value. Sorry. So instead of 10 here, I want to pass here x here. I want to pass here x here. So now tell me if I am going to change here also x here. So can you check one more time the same example here, and so try to provide the output here.
Six and 7, sir. The 12th line is 6. 8th line is 7, sir.
So observe. So what are the values we are getting here? So both the values we are getting as a 6 here. Why we are getting both the values 6 here? Basically, this particular x is local to this particular method. So for printing here, one more time. So if you print this particular x value, now we are going to get the changed value. So because this is the scope is different and this particular scope is different. Getting the point. So if you are trying to pass the same variable here, this is not the object reference here. So this is the primitive data type value. Getting the point. We already discussed here the call by value. Getting the point. The call by value. Call by value, what happens in this internally? So it's not going to affect when we are trying to change the value. So into the caller location. Right. Even though if we are trying to pass this particular x value, if it is changing in the method level, it's not going to affect it into this particular. It is not going to affect it into the main block here. Now you can understand if I'm going to print to the next line, the affected value we are going to get. So the do stuff we are having 6 here, and the 7 value we are getting from this particular printer line. So it is not a 67. This line is printing 6. This line is printing 7. And later the value we are getting as a 6 here. The value, the x value we are getting as a 6 here. So this is very important here. Getting the point. So we need to understand here how we are passing this particular x value, and how we are trying to change this particular value. Right? Now, so answer one more question here. Let me create one more example. Logical 7. And observe here, inside this particular logical 7, I want to work with the main method. So here also, I want to take x is equals to 5. So let me check here, the x is equals to 5. If I'm going to call here, what will happen internally? I need to think here, public class 2, P, and the method void. So okay, so we'll try to check with another one. So into value 0, boolean. So setting I want to take as a true, and later, so just understanding the string related example here, because we did not discuss as of now. So string title is equal to hello, and I want to check with the condition. So value R, so I want to check with the setting and title equals to hello. So what I want to do, I'm going to return 1. Right. And one more condition I want to check here. So this condition I want to define inside this particular block. Value equals to 1. Title dot so equals here. Return true. So now what is happening internally? So can you please explain me this commented code is going to work or is going to give any error here? So this particular section I'm going to write inside this particular method here. So just understand here, public into get value. So we are having the method. This entire code I'm returning inside this particular get value method. So now you can imagine, so these two conditions we are going to return here. Based on one condition, the value we are going to return here. So what is the value we are going to get here? If this particular example, so which is going to compile successfully. So just think here, if I'm going to call the static method, now you can imagine we are having method like this. I'm going to call get value. So now you can think here.
Return 1, sir.
Return 1. How it is going to return 1?
Sir, in our condition, if anyone is true, it will be true. Condition is true. But
Okay.
here value is 0. The setting
Okay.
and title hello is true, sir.
So basically you need to understand here. So both the expression it needs to return Boolean value. Right. So even though we are working on the R condition, so both the expression it has to be written Boolean conditions here. So but here if you observe the value having the data type here integer. Right. So this value is not going to return any Boolean value, which is trying to return int value, because we don't have any expression here, like we are not comparing with any other value. So just simply we declare the variable here. Right. The variable contains the value 0. So the value we declare here. But to understand here, what we need to do, we need to check like this. Value equals to 0, then if the expression will become false, whatever we are trying to write this particular first expression, so it's going to check with the second expression. Getting the point. But here what we are doing here, now if I'm going to enable here, now you can understand here. So as you suggested here, we are going to get to, so this particular exception will become true, and we are going to get return value. But what about this? If I'm not adding this, simply if I'm going to make here, what happening internally? We are getting compilation error, and here, so this is a, now you can understand here, the operator is undefined for the argument type as int to boolean. The first one which is expecting int, and the second one we are working on the same, the boolean data type here. But whenever we are trying to work with any condition, what we need here, so both the condition it has to return boolean value, right? So this is going to give a compilation error, this example. So now if I'm going to enable this, so this value is going to return true or false, that is different here. But what we are doing here, so this section is working expectedly. Getting the point. So whatever we defined here, so which is working successfully. But here this expression is going to return false, so that which is going to check with this particular, sorry, entire expression which is going to return false, because now we are in the AND condition, right? So now, so you need to understand here, whenever we are trying to write any value, whether all the values are satisfied or not with the expression or not. So this we need to think here. Now you need to understand here one more question here. So let me add a ternary operator. I'm trying to comment this section, and simply so observe, I'm going to write one more example. So this example we are going to work with ternary operator, so logical 8. Oh. So you can see what I'm going to write inside this particular main method. Int I is equals to 42. So string s is equals to, I want to check the condition. So the condition here, now you need to think little bit carefully. So here how I'm trying to write this particular condition. So here, if this particular string s is equals to, I'm going to add the condition if less than 40. I less than 40, I'm going to work with this particular, some message I am trying to write. Right. So now, again I'm going to make inside this particular else section, I greater than 50. Observe carefully, this section is very important here. Because inside this particular ternary operator, so one more ternary operator we are working here. Something here. So now universe I'm trying to define, and so everything. So try to think, if I'm going to print this particular this out here, so what I'm going to get here.
Everything, sir.
Everything. So why everything is printing here?
Both the conditions are false, sir.
Both the conditions are false. Okay. So first we need to check this particular expression. So I less than 40. So if the I less than 40, we are having 42. So this will become false here. If it is false, whatever the after question mark, this is not going to execute. Right. Now we need to check this particular because this is a else section. Inside this particular ternary operator, after the colon, which is going to play as a else section. So, but inside this particular else section, now what we are doing is, again we are going to make one more condition. So inside this particular one more condition, we need to check here. So the I value 42, but we are checking with the 50 condition, right? So if the I value greater than this particular 50, so which is going to return true. But in our case, this particular I value 42, so which is returning false. Again, if this particular expression will return false, where it will go? This particular everything is going to print. So now we need to think very carefully whenever we are trying to write. So we can call it as a nested ternary operator. We are going to call as a nested ternary operator here. Now, so we need to think one more example here. Okay. So what we can do, if the length 1 and equals to 10. So let me write this one more example. So I'm going to like you can check with in the Google. You are going to find some logical questions on the books related, so that we can understand more how exactly these particular questions are going to work here. So logical 9. Inside this particular logical 9, now you can think here. I'm going to work with one condition. So arch dot length equals to 1. R condition I'm going to make, and equals with test. So we are having two conditions here. Either length equals to 1, or if the one's index location, the object is equals to test. Simply what I'm doing is I'm going to print here some test case, and else block. Inside this particular else block, I want to check with one more condition, something called production. I want to check with the production something arc 0. So now you can think here, if I'm going to run this example here, what happens internally? So here I'm trying to add comment here. So this is the value I'm going to pass. Logical 9 live 2. So you can think I'm going to run this example from the command line, and I'm going to give this particular value here. So this particular value I'm going to give. What is the value we are going to give? So like simple understanding here, I want to run this example from command prompt. So what we are going to do? So to run from the command prompt, we are having the terminal here. So it is not responding. Okay. Now we want to copy this particular logical 9. What happened? The file name, sorry, CD. So now we are in the, oops. So now you can see we are in the package here. So carefully observe, we are in the oops package here. Now what I am going to do? Java C, what is the name of the our class? Logical 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me compile this example. The compilation is successful. But if I'm going to run here logical 9, I want to give this value. So what is the output we are going to get? So now you can see, so up to this is the command I'm giving, and later the value I'm giving as a live 2. Now you can think here, so this is I'm trying to give. So if I'm going to give, what is the value we are going to get? Because this command and example also we discussed in the previous classes. So like you are able to answer.
Live to else part will be executed.
Else part will be executed. Okay. So now we can think here. Basically, the simple example here, the length we are checking with 1. So we are having the length, how much we are going to get length 1. Getting the point. The length we are going to pass one variable or not. We are passing the length here. So if this condition satisfies, so which is going to test this particular equals condition, it is not going to check the equal condition here. Right. So now you can see, if I'm going to run the same example. So here you can observe what is the value we are getting? Test case. Getting the point. So this condition, the if condition is satisfied here. So you are missing to check this particular length here. So length also important here. Right. So this argues one is different, the length is different here because the lengths are going to starting from the 1, the indexes are going to starting from the 0. So we need to understand the difference between length and indexes information. Right. So we identified here the simple example is going to check with the first condition. Now, so if I'm going to change here this particular public here, if I'm going to change this particular class here, so now what about this example? Again, I'm trying to compile the code. Right, the compile is successfully. To understand, let me make little bit bigger. So carefully observe here. This is compiled. Now I want to run. Now I want to run here. But if I'm going to run also, we are getting the same test case here. So this is we need to check here because we don't have a different packages here. So we are working on the same package. So even though the particular class access modifier, if I'm trying to remove, we are going to get an object here. So whatever the condition we are going to satisfy, so which is going to return true. Now, so can you think and let me know regarding this particular example? So this is also very important here. Logical 10 I want to add. Inside this particular 10, int x is equals to 0 and int y is equals to 0. I'm making here, sorry, hot z is equals to 0 and z less than 5, z plus z. Right. Now, here I want to check with the condition. So here, what is the condition I'm checking here? If this particular x is greater than 2, or I want to check with one more condition, the y is greater than 2. If the y is greater than 2, what I'm doing here? I want to check with x plus plus. Getting the point. I want to check with x plus plus. So let me make one more base for entire expression here. Right. Now, if I'm going to print this particular x and y value. So what is the value I'm going to get? So think a little bit carefully and let me know. So what is the output we are going to get?
So here for loop up to if condition only.
That you need to think here. What I wrote. The scope is important here. So up to what scope we are trying to use here. So now you can think here. The x value we are getting 8 and the y value we are getting 2. So why we are getting this 8 and 2? So that you need to think. Just write a simple example and try to increment the value, how it is changing. Observe, if I am going to run the same example in a debug mode, so we'll have a understanding of this particular simple example, how it is working internally. So now we can check here, plus plus x. The plus plus x value is going to increment and the x value will become 1, and same way the condition we are checking here. So what is the condition we are checking? X greater than 2. So this condition will not satisfy here. Now you can understand here, if it is not satisfied, where is the break variable section? So maybe I think it. So try to check here, left side section, how the variables are changing. Now, so x value is increased, y value increased. So y x and values both are increased here. Getting the point. Basically, we are working on the both pre-increment operators. Right. So first is going to check this particular expression. The value, x value is increased, and we are checking the condition. So this condition is not satisfied. So later, so y value is going to increase, and after increasing, the y value is going to check the condition. So both the conditions are not satisfied. Now what happens? So it's going to check with the loop one more time. Is going to repeat here. Now we can understand the z value will become 1. What happens internally? So still the x will become 2 and y will become 2. The conditions are not satisfied. The conditions are not satisfied. Now you can check here. X value 2, y value 2. So again I am trying to run the one more time. So z value will become 2. So now you can check here. What happens internally? X value is going to increase 3, and after increasing this particular 3, the condition is going to satisfy. Getting the point? The condition is going to satisfy. Once this condition will satisfied here, what happening internally? The x plus is going to work here. So now see, so here the x value will become 3, right? So now whenever it is running, it will become 4. So now you can see, now we need to understand the x value will become 4. Because 2 times the x value is going to increase using the pre-increment operator first and later post-increment operator. Because of this, the x value is changing 2 times here. So now you can see z value will become 3 now. Right. Now again we need to check. The condition is going to satisfy because we are having the x value 4. So it will become 5. Condition will satisfy. So we are going to enter into this particular loop here. So 6 will become 7. Sorry, 5 will become 6 here. So now you can see the x value will become 6. Right. So this we need to check carefully how exactly the values are incrementing. Now the z will become 4. The condition is going to fail. X and y. X and y. So these are the values we are going to get here. So this section, very important section we are discussing here. Getting the point. So whenever you are going to get any, so these kind of logical questions, what we need to do? We need to think little bit carefully how exactly, so this particular logical examples are going to work here. Now, okay. So this particular Boolean and long data we already identified in the previous examples here. So, Okay. So can you check with this particular website here? You are going to have more information on the logical questions here. So you may be get more questions on this particular logical questions here. So this maybe I think I'm thinking this website, so which is going to give more information on this particular logical questions here. So as of now, whatever the concept we discuss here, so those information we are going to find inside this particular website here. Let me check this particular website. Collection and generic. So we are not going to work with the collection and generic. So this is also not. So what I trying to write here. Here basically based on this particular oops we are going to get here. Let me write. Okay. So we'll check here this particular logical questions level 1 for beginners. So where we are getting it. So CJP terms. Okay. So we'll see multiple questions here. So you are going to have more and more questions here. So you can check with this the prime number Fibonacci series reverse. So reverse thing the reverse number we'll see because as of now we did not discuss the string related example here. And so we'll have a more important on this particular example. So try to check this particular example. So if you're having anything, let me know. We'll try to cover up this particular example in our daily based classes here. Right. Now, so what I want to do, I want to check with the particular, the important section we want to check here. So otherwise, we'll try to check with the new concept on Monday. So we'll have more important section, anything we can find it out here. So collection we are not discussing Java 8 thread concurrency. Okay, this is we are not going to find. Public wide go, so short long and go wide side. Okay, we'll try to check with a simple example on this. So super, protected super and the public support. So we'll see on this simple example how we can work on this particular. So protected super and sub. I want to create the class as a logical 10. So 11 we can create. 10 is already available. So this is a super class we can pick here. I'm trying to define the variable. protected. So the constructor I'm making as a protected and into A. So this is the one constructor I'm trying to work. And what happens if I'm going to check with the inheritance example sub. This particular sub is going to extend from the logical now if I'm going to add here public constructors, what happens internally? So otherwise so which is going to take as a entry A and super A. Same way subclass which is not going to take anything. So if it is not going to take anything here, so let me so this dot A is equal to 5. So what happens internally? So if I'm going to enable this, so we are not able to access this. Why I'm not able to access this particular A variable? So this section is very important. Now you can see this field local A is not visible. So first we need to understand here this particular A variable in the superclass is a private access modifier. So private access modifier we identified, we cannot work. Right. First we identified. But what about second one? So try to understand here. Whenever I'm trying to work with this particular default constructor here, I'm getting an error here. So why I'm getting this particular error? Because we can think here in the logical 11, we don't have a default constructor. We don't have a default constructor. So this section is very important here. So whatever the features we are having, so we need to copy the same and with the constructor related information, we need to create a same constructor, whatever the constructor we have seen in the superclass. If we are trying to provide any specific constructor, what we need to do? So those constructors will be created in the superclass. So otherwise, we are going to get a compilation error. So this is this particular example. Now you can see the implicit superclass constructor is undefined. Nothing but the default constructor is not created. The default constructor is not created. Getting the point? So these are the very important things. Very important things when we come to know. So whenever we are trying to work with the constructors here. So in the previous also we identified simple example on this particular constructor. Right. Now you can understand here. Let me change here the superclass constructor. If I'm going to say, now you can see, except this particular variable, we are not going to get any error. But now you can understand, if I'm going to create subclass which is expecting this particular A.
The public spelling is wrong.
Okay. So now you can understand here. So basically we are having one parameter constructor. Now you want to check with the super B. What happening here? We are not going to get anything. Let me save here. Any error we are getting here? No error. But why For the default constructor only we are getting here. Getting the point. So this is very important here. Whenever we are trying to define any parameters constructor, so we must to define the default constructor, because we are trying to call any subclass default constructor. So this is not the superclass constructor. But what we are doing here, we are calling this particular subclass default constructor. Right. So we already identified whenever we are trying to call this particular default constructor, so which is going to take the high priority of superclass constructor first. Later it will back to the subclass constructor. So because of this particular constructor, what happens internally? We don't have the default constructor in the superclass. So because of this we are getting an error here. Getting the point. So this particular constructor related information we need to be so little bit carefully to understand more. Getting the point. So these are about the simple logical questions we are discussing related to this particular roots related, because all we are having overloading, overriding, right? And we are working with encapsulation, and we are working with inheritance, and we are working on the objects and the class. Getting the point. So we are having more information on this particular roots principles here, right? So try to check with the same website here to find out the more example on this particular logical questions here. So you are going to have more logical questions on this particular, so this website called jobmadeeasy.com here. Okay, so try to practice on more and more, and try to get on like internal style of this particular each and every example. Right. On Monday, we are going to discuss the default methods in interfaces. So the section which is introduced in the Java 8. So we are going to discuss the Java 8 feature. Getting the point. So these are the very important things we are going to discuss. Once this particular interface concepts are completed, so we are going to work with different concepts here, exception handling, and later we are going to work with multi-threading concepts here. The basic example we already completed. Now only the things you need to practice very well. So then only any logical questions, because basically logical questions we are going to get up to the OOPS. So we may get, so those questions are a little bit different here. But once we are familiar with the OOPS related logical questions, so we can easily understand how exactly so those questions are going to work here. Getting the point. Okay. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow we don't have a class. We'll continue on Monday. So these 2 days you need to practice the logical questions by going through this particular website here, javamadeeasy.com. You are going to have more questions. They provided the more questions here. So I think these are the questions are fine to understand what we discussed as of now. Okay, anything you want to discuss with me?
Sir, please tell me reversing type of logical questions.
So reversing, it is easy to write, because the arrays related example we already discussed here. So just to check this particular website, basically what we need to do, we need to find out the length of this particular string, right? So from the using this particular length of this thing, and we can work with the for loop and reverse the string. So this is also one way, or we can work with in the string. In the string buffer, we are going to have one method reverse string. So using this particular method, we can have. So those more logical questions we can discuss after completion of this particular string classes. String and string buffer, string builder, we need to discuss first. So once these classes are completed, we can work on all the logical questions here. So meanwhile, just go through this particular website. Maybe you are going to find this particular reverse related and some of the logical questions here. Okay. Once you are familiar here, we can have more on this particular reverse Armstrong and polymorphism. So Fibonacci series. So we are going to have different logical questions. So we'll discuss. Okay. So I'm going to conclude the today class. We'll continue on Monday.
Okay, sir.